Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to start learning about 9.3, and we're going to learn about box plots. So this here, what you're looking at, is an example of a box plot. Sometimes we're referred to as box and whisker plots. So this would be the box here, and obviously these two lines sticking out here are going to be the whiskers. But we'll just call them box plots. Now, what a box plot does is it lets you see five data points really quickly. And it's called a 5-point summary. Right? So for a 5-point summary, it gives us these pieces of information. So the 5-point summary. So 5-point summary. It gives us three things. Well, here we go. It gives us the first thing, it gives us the lower extreme. So it gives us the lower extreme, which is just the smallest number in the data set. So in this case, the lower extreme is right down here. It looks like it's 1,000. All right, so the lower extreme is 1,000. It gives us the upper extreme, and the upper extreme in this case is 2,200. And then it gives us the quartile. So it gives us, here is quartile. So this is the lower extreme. This was the upper extreme. So this is going to be quartile 1. This is going to be quartile 2, otherwise known as the median, and this will be quartile 3. So quartile 1, it looks like it's 1,300. So Q1 is 1,300. Q2 is 1,600. And Q3 is 1,800. So if I ask you for a 5-point summary, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the lower extreme, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the upper extreme. Now, much the same with when we talked about these three quartiles, how they break the data up into 4 sections. That's no different here. We still have 4 sections. We still have this section here. This is one section. This is another, and another. All right, so it's just another way of writing the information out, drawing somebody can see it visually. And the other thing that makes it easier to see here is where the data is the most spread out and where it's most condensed. So if you look at this right here, and sometimes it's easier than others to see it, but if you look here, remember each one of these sections represents 25%, and they represent the same number of data values. So for example, we looked at one where we had swimmers, and there was 40 swimmers altogether. So that means each group here represents 10 swimmers. So if you look here, this smallest one here, you can tell that, so this right here is the smallest little section right here, represents 25%, and it represents the same amount of values as all the other sections. However, the data in this section, is really close together. All right, so whatever this is, the weight of, let's say, a go-kart. All right, these ones in here, and this between Q2 and Q3, the weights are really close together. All right. Now, if you look at this one, you could see here that in each one of these 4 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, the ones here, this first section right here, the data values in there are spread out really far. All right, so this is the most spread out. And again, this one right here is the second section, has the data values are really close together. So if we had to find the extremes, the lower extreme is going to be 1, the upper extreme is going to be 5. Now the quartiles, Q1 is going to be 3, Q2 is 3.5, and Q3 is 4.5. So that's what we're doing here. We're finding the extremes, the 5-point summary. So again, 5-point summary. Let's go to the lower extreme. So the lower extreme is going to be 400. The upper extreme is going to be 850. So the upper extreme is going to be 850. Q1 is right here. That's 450. Q2 is 650. And Q3 is 750. And And sometimes I'm going to just start out by asking you which section are they the most spread out, which one are they close together. So in this one right here, this one's really spread out a lot. Here the values in this section are pretty, they vary a lot. There's a greater range. Whereas in this one, the range is smaller, all right? If we wanted to find the IQR from this, we can just again take Q3 minus Q1. So 750 minus 450 is 300. So the IQR in this case would be 300. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to make some of these. So let's do this to make our lives a little easier. So here we go. So I want to make a box plot. We have our 5-point summary. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by creating a line here. So let's make this line as straight as we can, which isn't really straight. Okay, so now I start out by looking at my extreme. So my lower extreme is going to be 0. So I put a 0 there. Now, what I got to do is I got to think of a good interval to take me along the way. I don't feel like if my upper value is 50, I don't want to go ahead and make 50 numbers there. So let's say we go by 5s or by 10s. So either one of them works. So let's go by 5s. Let's do every one of these is 5. So 5, 10, number line. Now notice that we have a number line here, but the box plot is made. It's like it's floating above the number line. So we don't make it directly on the number line. So what I like to do is I like to start with my extreme. So my lower extreme is 0, so I'm going to put a dot there for 0. My upper extreme is 50, so I'm going to put a dot there. And then I put lines for the quartile. So quartile 1 is 20, so I'm going to put a line here. Quartile 2 is 25, I'll put a line there. And quartile 3 is 35. And now I'm just going to connect these and connect these, and there is my box plot, right? Now, something really important to remember. You got to choose an interval down here and stick with it. I can't go 0, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 27. Don't just write these numbers for your interval. You have to choose, you're going from 0 to 50. You've got to choose an appropriate interval. I think the smaller the interval is, the better, but you have to do that within reason because, again, you don't want to go ahead and count up 50 notches, or you don't want to go up by 2s in this case because that's just going to take you a long time. So let's try another one. So this one, we have, let's do this again, background here. Let's draw our number line. So our lower value is 42.5. So I don't really have to put that exact number. I could put, for my lower value, I could put 40. And my upper value is 62.5. I could put 65. So I could just go up by, I can go up by 5s here again. So let's just say this is 45. 50, nope. 55, nope. Come on, I ran out of ink. 55, 60, 65. So let's erase some of this so it doesn't look silly. Perfect. Okay. So now this one looks kind of small, so I could have used a smaller interval maybe. I could have went up by maybe 2s or 4s, but we're okay. So here we go. I'm going to put a dot at my lower extreme of 42.5, and that's going to be right there in the middle of there. I'm going to put a dot at 62.5, which will be right there. And then I'm going to put lines at 47.5. So 47.5 will be about right here. 55 will be here, and 60 will be here. And again, we'll connect the boxes there, connect the whiskers, and there's our box plot. So yeah, I would have rather make this one a little bit bigger this way. I think the bigger they are, the easier it is to sort of make and to read. So, all right, next one. So here we go. We have all this data here. So we're going from lower extreme of 825 to the upper value of 900. So we're going up a total of 125 from the The lower extreme to the upper extreme is 125. So we can go up by 20s, we can go up by 15s. Let's try that. Let's try 15s. So let's start with 825. You don't have to start with 825, but we could. Yeah, I was wrong about that. It's sorry, the lower extreme is 575, the upper is 900, so we're going up 325. Yeah, we're going 325. All right, so that's kind of different. All right, so let's do this. Let's go up by 50s then. All right, so here we go. Let's make our line here. And again, there really is no, I guess there could be kind of wrong ways to do it, but all within reason, I think it's okay. So if my lower value is 575. So let's make the lower value 550. We'll say 550. And now let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's make this 600. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make this 650. 1, 2, 3, 4. 700. Okay, so that should be good. So, so here we go. So lower extreme 575. So this is 550. That's 600. So right in the middle of that. So let's put this right here. So that's gonna be our 575. Our upper value is 900. We'll put that here. Quartile 1 is 750. That's going to be here. Quartile 2 is 800. That's going to be here. And quartile 3 is 825. That's going to be right in the middle there. It's going to be about there. Okay, so now let's put our boxes together. And let's put connect these dots. So there we go. All right. Now, as you can see, this first section here has got a wide variety of data points in there. And this one is pretty close together. All right. So that's how we make a box plot. So last thing I want to do is I want to start from scratch here. I want to go ahead and take this information. I want to calculate our 5-point summary, then draw the box plot. So let's do it. First, I put my numbers in order from least to greatest. So if I'm finding the 5-point summary, my lower extreme, we can just look at that and say that's 16. My upper extreme, we can look at that and say it's 42. Now let's find our quartiles. So since there's 12 numbers, the 6th and the 7th ones are the 2 in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the 2 in the middle. So obviously the median is right in there. So it's 28.5. So now down here I got 6 numbers. So the 2 numbers in the middle are 3 and 4. That's these 2. What's in the middle of that is 21. So Q1 is 21. And then Q3, again, it's going to be the upper half, the median of the upper half. These are the 2 numbers in the middle, 30 and 37. So right in the middle of that is 33.5. Okay, so now let's make the box plot. Lower extreme of 16 and an upper extreme of 42, I decided to go up by 4s. So 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, and 44. So now let's just fill in the things we know here. We know the lower extreme is 16, the upper extreme is 42, which is right about there. Quartile 1 is 21. So again, these won't always be exact, so we just have to sort of estimate them as best we can. Quartile 2 is 28.5, so here's 30, so 20.5 can be about right there. And then Q3 is 33, so this is 34, so 33 is about right there. All right, so again, they don't have to be perfectly exact. We just want them to be as close as we can. And so there you go. There's our 5-point summary, and there's our box plot. Email me if you have any questions.